Let us go now and learn the truth about what's happening on this island.
The other night's events are still confused in my head.
Alright everybody, welcome back to Call of Cthulhu, whatever you want, however you properly pronounce it. Oh, floor ladder. So we have to go talk to Sanders' widow. Is that it this way? Yes. Okay. Let's go see what's going on there. Pierce, Colden, and Bradley decided to team up to solve the Sarah Hawkins case. They have a new trail to follow. Francis Saunders, an art collector and friend of the painter who died right in front of Pierce. The detective goes to his house in order to speak to his widow about the shambler that the unfortunate man mentioned before he died. There we go.
What can I do for you, sir?
Mrs. Sanders, I'm a private detective. We must talk about your husband and his ties to Sarah Hawkins. Can I come in?
You may. However, before we go any further, please know that my husband died yesterday.
That is precisely what brings me here.
Well, well, look who's here.
You know each other?
Our paths crossed, briefly. The brave detective has a talent for sticking his nose into my business.
I bump into her every time I'm investigating someone's death.
It's a small island, Detective. My island. It's better that it's you bumping into me.
You're investigating Francis' death. Why? Who hired you?
I spoke to Francis before he died. His story suggests a link to a case I'm working on.
Well, since this business has got nothing to do with me, I'll be in your husband's office, Irene. We'll carry on later.
Very well, Miss Baker. This way, Mr. Pierce. And do make yourself comfortable. It would seem that you have much to tell me. May I inquire as to when you had the opportunity to talk to my husband?
Yesterday. I met him at the hospital.
Damn.
He spoke to me about Sarah Hawkins.
Oh, of course he spoke to you about her. That's all he talked about. Sarah Hawkins and her paintings. Please forgive my tone. The fact is that I have not been allowed to see him since he was interned. You, on the other hand, a perfect stranger, were able to see him and even talk with him the day he died. How was he? Were you present when he had this attack? What happened?
He died screaming right before my eyes. Oh my jeez.
What happened to your husband is terrible, Mrs. Sanders. But from what I saw, it was inevitable. The man I met yesterday had lost his reason. He suffers no longer, if you would allow me such a platitude.
Of course. Thank you for your kind words. Nobody in that hospital would have deigned to speak them to me. However, it will require more than that to soothe my mind. I need to understand. How could this happen? In a reputed institute? And right before your eyes? Did you not do anything to help him?
So ask Fuller, he's the eminent doctor. But I would caution you, you'll find his treatments more terrifying than the illnesses he sets out to cure.
That churl no longer takes the trouble to receive me. He sends his secretary to tell me that I cannot see Francis. Me. His own widow. He must think that I am a terrible wife for having abandoned him in such a way. But I only wanted what was best for him.
I'm not here to condemn you, Mrs. Sanders.
Oh, I'm tired, Mr. Pierce. I would be grateful if you could tell me what you expect of me, and then leave.
How did you come to meet Sarah Hawkins?
We were the wealthiest and most influential families on Darkwater. Of course we would know each other. And when Charles returned from Europe with his sweet little artist, she and her sinister paintings were destined to catch my husband's eye. He bought many of her works over the last 5 years. They adorn his macabre gallery.
May I ask you what Miss Baker is doing here? How do you know her?
My business with Miss Baker is private, Mr. Pierce.
But you do know what kind of business Miss Baker is in, don't you?
I am no fool. Please believe that much, at least.
Oh, I didn't really want to mention the Shambler, but here we go.
Did your husband talk to you about Sarah Hawkins' visitor? A shambler, to use his precise terms.
Well, you can imagine that's all he talked about. It's exhibited at the center of the gallery. No better place for the painting that endowed him with the privilege of such a shameful and miserable end to his life.
Hold on. The Shambler is a painting by Sarah Hawkins.
Who else to paint such horrors? Take a look for yourself, if you feel so inclined.
It is my only lead at this stage. I suppose I have nothing to lose.
Then you have paid no heed. For my part, I refuse to set foot in that gallery again. But if you're so eager to see it, I would urge you to make the most of your visit. Because I count on ridding myself of that thing as soon as I can.
Thank you, Mrs. Sanders. I won't be long.
Alright, let's go ahead and have a look-see.
Did she really care for him after all?
Dear Madam, I acknowledge receipt of the letter in which you demand the body of your deceased husband. I am sorry to inform you that I cannot agree to return his body to you. At the moment of his interment, you signed a discharge, allowing me to dispose of his body as I see fit. I extend my deepest condolences to you, Thomas Fuller. Oh. Oh. Huh. I don't know why, but that piano is very satisfying.
The day the Shambler came into the Sanders' lives.
Oh, Jesus. Photograph of Sarah Hawkins next to the Sanders. They must be close. Why does she look so pissed? He looks proud as heck. Like a freaking peacock strutting his feathers. And she looks furious. Oh. Oh, hello. Okay.
Frances Sanders and Sarah Hawkins were close. Friends, even?
Ah.
A house of artists. A house of artists.
Hmm.
Sanders' accession register. He wrote beside the Shambler, "Finally." What did Sarah Hawkins fear so much that she didn't want to sell the painting?
Oh.
He finally won. Was Sanders aware of his imminent doom? She despises Sarah Hawkins, but it's the painting she truly hates. Why? She didn't want Sanders to have the painting. She must have felt devastated.
I don't want to look at this thing.
Chandler. I need to see it.
Oh. Ah! Medicine. Second volume in the series covers everything from gas gangrene to trench nephritis. In addition to a precise and detailed study, the book presents some avant-garde theories. The incredible complexity of this book reserves it for medical experts. Is there anything else I can look at in here? My good God, some of these paintings are rather unpleasant. I don't like seeing closets in games. I don't. Because then it makes me think that I'm going to need to hide in them. Which I'm not a fan of. Which way leads to...
Let's see what this cylinder
Whoa.
has to say once it's inserted in a phonograph.
An audio recording that Francis Saunders left to his wife Irene. Let me play it.
Irene, I made a mistake. I fear that it might be too late for me. Nobody should enter, except to burn everything. I never had the courage. Pay somebody to do it. He's inside my head. I see him behind my eyelids each time I shut my eyes. I can't take any more. I can't hold him back. Forgive me.
That accursed gallery. Those accursed paintings. That accursed Sarah.
Yes.
Irene, I made a mistake.
There was a tune.
I fear that it might be too late for me. Nobody should enter, except to burn everything. I never had the courage. Pay somebody to do it. He's inside my head. I see him behind my eyelids each time I shut my eyes. I can't take any more. I can't hold him back. Forgive me.
I'm never going to figure that out. So I'm going to look it up. Aha! There we go. 1 second though, I must minimize this. What's this?
Is this dagger part of Sanders' collection, or was he seeking to acquire it?
Good God, look at that thing. Art and Mysticism. Forgotten Objects is a collection written by Francis Saunders. In it, he catalogs and categorizes different objects from all ages and origins that are linked to occult or mystical practices. It is open at the page of the dagger that bears a symbol that is not unknown to me. Good God, look at that thing. Okay. Good stuff. What? Did you guys see that blood? Okay, I need to check some of these doors. Yeah, there was blood over that painting. Why was there blood over the painting? Everything is locked. Okay. Looks like we have to go this way.
A strange Amerindian pendant.
An ancient amulet, probably Amerindian. I wonder what its purpose could be. I just got an achievement for inspecting 50 items. The Whale and the Cod, a brief history of Darkwater Island. By Erwin Greenmouth. It is focused on the past glory of the island. Okay.
I could use one of those.
I wonder if these sleeping, well, found these sleeping pills in Saunders' house. So were they prescribed to Francis Saunders or to Irene? And you just take them. You know, we just take them.
Strange. For months, Sarah Hawkins refused to part with her painting, to finally give it away for nothing.
Dear Francis, I beg you to give up all hope of ever owning this accursed painting. If our friendship has any meaning for you, please spare me the weight of guilt. I cannot be the architect of your fall. I beg you, my dear friend, forget the Shambler. Your friend, Sarah Hawkins. Okay. Okay.
Another volume of the Reverend's wife's diary.
This volume spends some time on Reverend Wycott or Wickwood's community. Her wife expresses her worries about the strange dreams that the Reverend's congregation are having since her arrival on the island. Some members of the community, her husband included, began to speak of their vision as a messenger sent by God. She is scared that they will suffer the same fate as the lost tribe. Key to Saunders' gallery. I saw a test of strength and I was like, good God, we're not gonna fucking pass that. Dissertation on an anatomical question. It is the work of a student in book form. Although the observations are relevant, they lack the expertise of an experienced physician. However, the questions asked allow us to imagine new ways of exploring human anatomy. Now, we did get a character point a little while ago, didn't we? Yes. So we have 1. 2, 2, 2, 6. Sure. Why is occultism 3 out of 5 when this is 2? I feel like I have found a lot more medicinal stuff. Alright, well let's... Oh, hello. Did you read the book? Sure. Oh my good God. Except to read an unholy book. Oh, it is a kind of encyclopedia of monstrous and unknown creatures. I'm beginning to believe that they exist. Whoops.
That's twice you've stepped on my toes, Detective. Try not to make a habit of it.
I've got a lot of bad habits.
Some can be more fatal than others. What have you come looking for in this gallery?
Another painting by Sarah Hawkins. One connected to the horrors I've discovered on this island.
What a surprise. I'm listening.
There's more than that, Miss Baker.
So people have been talking behind my back. I was almost beginning to like you, Mr. Pierce. But it stays cat for you.
You knew the Sanders?
Irene is a friend of mine.
And you? What brings you to the Sanders home?
I'm here on business. Irene asked me to liquidate all these paintings. She doesn't intend to hang around here for long.
Why you?
Believe it or not, there aren't many collectors on Darkwater. It needs someone with a network and a means of transport to the mainland. A choice that comes down to Fitzroy and me. And I'm far more pleasant, wouldn't you say?
I wasn't done talking to you.
Not now, sweetheart. I'd like to read this without some snoop looking over my shoulder.
Good enough. Alright,